Are you like a lot of my clients and you love to travel? You plan your trip, book the hotel, book the flights, book the excursions, get the itinerary set, and it all looks great except you may have a big gap when it comes to your healthcare coverage that you're not even aware of. You may be thinking that your Medicare is going to cover you. And yet if something happens and you need to be evacuated back to the U.S. for medical care, that flight alone could cost $250,000. And Medicare is not going to cover that. Now I want to talk in today's video about what it can cost, what Medicare will cover, and then what you can do to make sure you don't have a big gap that follows you home in the form of a big bill that you've got to pay. Not too long ago, I had a client that did have a medical event overseas. Step off a curb, break an ankle, and need to have that ankle repaired. And it was a very tricky break, and it needed to have very specialized surgery in order for her to be able to heal well and be able to continue to walk for the rest of her life. And she did need to be evacuated back to the U.S. to the right location where the right doctors could do the right kind of work. And it was very expensive. And that is the case typically when it comes to something of that sort. It can be just an accident, or it could be a medical event that happens, but a stay in the hospital overseas or needing to be flown back to the U.S. can become very expensive in a very short period of time. And when you think about what Medicare covers, original Medicare is not going to cover anything. It does not have a foreign benefit to it. Original Medicare is going to pay for care inside the U.S. There are some very limited exceptions to that, but not generally going to apply to you when you're traveling overseas or in a foreign country. There are some supplement plans that have a limited foreign benefit. Plans D, G, M, N, and then the legacy plans C and F, if you were able to get on Medicare before 2020, those plans have a foreign medical benefit, but it's limited. Generally, they'll pay 80% of the cost and then limit that to a lifetime cap of $50,000. While one stay in the hospital can easily eat up that $50,000 lifetime cap in no time at all. Or needing to be evacuated home can blow through that and be a whole lot more than that in no time at all. And so the coverage is extremely limited. And for that reason, you've got to think about what should you do to fill in this gap, because if anything were to happen, the cost could be big. The number one thing that you want to know is, what do you have as far as your current insurance and what does it cover? Check which supplement you have and what coverage you have under that supplement so you know how much would be covered with what you've already got. What is your lifetime limit? What is the cap? What is the maximum amount that will pay? Second, look at getting a medical policy for your trip. It could cost you a few $100s to get this coverage, and yet, if anything were to happen, it would be there to cover that cost. It would fill in that gap. And you want to make sure that that policy does have that evacuation benefit so that if you're having to be flown home, it's going to step in and pay for that. Number 3, organize your medical information and put that in a secure cloud vault so you have access to it when you need it, and make sure that you've got all of your medical data as well as any powers of attorney that you might need. That way, if you do need to get care, you've got what you need to get the very best care. A real plan covers more than just your portfolio, and this is a good example of what that looks like in real life. Your trip is a part of your plan. Your healthcare coverage on your trip is a part of your plan. This is why I always say you need to be working with somebody that is looking at more than just your portfolio to make sure that you are fully covered. If you know anyone that loves to travel, forward this video to them so they know how to cover the gaps in their plan. And then be sure and subscribe so you don't miss anything that could help you be on your best path in your retirement.